Good morning. Good morning. Yeah. Morning. How you doing? All right? The odd time, not as often just now. See you soon, mate. It's nice to be welcomed in your environment that you live. So good morning to you. Neil Robinson, Scotsman 99. Good morning. Good morning to you. I cut my hair, mate. Well, made an absolute mess of it. But as Craig says, there's only 2 days between a good haircut and a bad haircut. Craig's mum used to cut his hair and say that to him. So good morning to all you hard-working people out there, keeping the unemployed fathers like myself with food. I wouldn't thank you for any heating or hot water. Thanks for the food. I'm walking and reading this morning. Now I can't walk and chew chewing gum at the same time, so this is going to be a bit of a task. Is there anyone else that was up a Catholic? I'm talking to myself. Because anytime Kenny had to go to Mass, because his parents made him go to Mass, anytime Kenny had to go, he didn't like going to Mass as a kid. So we'd come down to mine and we would hang out. Because my parents didn't go to Mass, didn't go to the Catholic Church. They didn't have the respect for the Catholic Church. And I know I speak about the Catholic Church in harsh and negative ways, because we need to speak about things that break society in harsh and negative ways. I don't know if you can hear me, but it doesn't really matter. I wouldn't say lots of people, because there isn't lots of people on here, but quite a few people. Always like to reach out and let me know that not everyone on here want to make children and family suffer. It's not just filled with paedophiles or paedophile protectors. But I stand by, it's well over 90%. Because everyone's depressed and anxious just now. Everyone is. And I don't think it's to be attributed to the mind, because this is a way to have your mind play tricks on you and go through the negative experiences that you attribute to that. But more than likely it's going to be your spirit within that's crying out because of this inauthentic, nasty lifestyle that we've chosen. It's all about the body, it's all about the flesh, it's all about making me happy right now, in this moment. I want to be happy in this moment, because I'm not going to put up with nonsense. Getting a lot of people look at us this morning, because I'm reading a Scotland book. When I hold it, it keeps my fingers warmer. But it's not really about reading a Scotland book. There's lots of people giving sort of nasty comments and things like that. Come on, man. Even you, Hoodie, James, all of you guys, if you're real people, you're going to suffer because the language that you use. My brother just drove past here, it looked like. Not looking great. Let's see. Google Translate the sentence from English to French. I don't understand what you're writing. My eyesight's terrible. But don't worry, I've got a haircut to match. You're going to be finding it difficult when you get up and your children are not there and you don't know how they feel. I know it's heartbreaking to see that people put effort into the hate that they give others, and it's really just because the internal hate that they have for themselves and their inauthentic life. That's the depression, that's the anxiety. Lots of love going up the screen, nice Ireland flags. Dublin here, good afternoon Dublin, Glasgow's calling. Is that cousins in Dublin? I played Gaelic football at Croke Park in Dublin in 1997. You can check it at Croke Park. Now, but if this was just maybe a year after Croke Park had been upgraded, had a makeover, had new seating arrangements. Do you remember the mid-90s when Croke Park had that? Well, I was 16 or 17, still at school. My cousin Gerard was along with us, and both of us got picked for a team called Alba, Scotland. So we played in the Gaelic Football World Cup in the 90s, and it was a wonderful experience. But it really did open my eyes to what Catholic was. It showed me how ignorant I was. I am. And most of us are, but we like to think that we know things. And I think I need to know what you know. I don't want to be unhappy. I don't want to be hated by my son and daughter and never get to know them or see them. I don't want to go in and speak badly with my brothers or upset my mum so much that I can't stand or stay with her. I don't want to upset my best friends who've stuck by me because of this. Because of the pain in day-to-day life that I magnify through coming on and speaking on here. I don't know why I do this most of the time. I want a father not to kill himself one morning when he's got no one there. I want a mother who doesn't have her children there and has been treated like dirt and has no one to turn to, because that's how the system's designed. I want that mother to think that she's worthwhile, her life's worthwhile. Good morning. Another smiling, beautiful neighbour. I don't want men and women, I don't want mothers and fathers to be taking their life because of the helplessness that we've been led to believe is what our purpose is. That we pretty much have no purpose in life. What's up? There's not a lot of, not that I haven't spoke about or addressed already. Apart from my fingers, they're really, really cold. I don't know how Ava and Matthew is. In fact, I can't picture what my son and daughter look like right now, and it breaks my heart. I know that you want to see me go out and work, and I know that I want to have purpose and go out and work as well. But when I go out, I want to be doing something that's worthwhile. I don't even know what I mean when I say worthwhiles. I've been reading and watching a lot about David Irving. I believe he's still alive. Great author, historian author. Bresboy, boxer, ex-boxer, champion. And you'll see he went out his way to show that he loved me, that he's friends with me. But my brother wouldn't do that. Bressie would, as demonstrated. And that's the thing that you have from growing up. I spoke about Kenny first. Kenny would always come down when we were supposed to go to this place. This is St John's Church. I didn't have to go. So this was that here. So as kids we would have to go to church. I didn't. Many people with Catholic families would have to go to Mass. And they'd have to go home after and they would tell their parents who the priest was and what the Mass was about and what gospel was spoken. And as kids we just couldn't be bothered with any of that stuff. And I know that my children are being pushed into these crazy goings on in the Catholic Church, your communions, confirmation. I mean, I was 7 and I went for Holy Communion and I had to get told that this was the body and blood of Jesus Christ. And it had to be treated like the real body and flesh of Jesus. I'll forget that bit just now. But when we were 17, 18, we liked to go to nightclubs and we liked to drink and do all of that stuff. And I worked in nightclubs from the age of 17, collecting glasses before I went behind the bar at age 18. And this place was a huge thing in my life. But there was always one thing. There was always one thing that was amazing. Amazing. And it was singing hymns. And in the Catholic Church we used to sing hymns. And they would make you smile when you were singing them. And this morning I had that memory and feeling of that this building of people within it did things that made me joyous and happy in life. So thank you for that. And I mean that. But this morning, that is what I was singing hymns this morning in my house on my own. And when you're a teenager and you're singing hymns in say your old school St Luke's, and you're singing Sing Hosanna, for example, and you can start to bang your foot and feel the beat, and it's like a marching beat. Sing Hosanna, sing Hosanna, sing Hosanna to the King of Kings. And I was singing that this morning and I was happy singing it. And it reminded me of my time with my mates in the church, or in the church that we had, and the gathering of people that believed in Catholicism. Whatever it was we were believing in at that time. And I loved it. You know, I loved it. And I loved the fun that you would look at your friends' faces singing these hymns and songs. So the culture from the church, it wasn't all bad, you know. Some of it was just plainly mental. Some of it is just a sickness. But much of it was joy. And that's what you try to extract from any bad time. And right now, the purpose of this unified pain, men, women, mothers, fathers, unified in their pain over the grieving their children. And I was watching David Irving yesterday speak about losing his daughter. And I know as mothers and fathers out there are sitting alone with no memory of their children, no recent memory, and they cry when they can't picture their children in their mind's eye. And depending on how low you might feel because of that depression and anxiety, because you're leading your inauthentic life, because you're selling yourself out short, because we're fighting for the flesh and not fighting for our spirit and soul inside us, because we're fighting amongst each other and we're not showing the love that we truly can offer one another. Since my dad died, and I've still got the church events and hymns and these things in my bag. I keep them with me. I keep them with me because my family came up from England and across from Australia and things like that, or they were already there. Now this is very similar to my own kitchen. Go on, press like and subscribe. I know you can't help it, you just love a wee bit of liking and subscribing. Nowadays, people don't know how to socialise. You know, I don't really know how to socialise, and I don't know how to speak to people or be nice to people anymore. And I need to accept responsibility that I've been an absolute knob to so many people. But what you'll find is if you can admit to these things in your life, there's certain people that will say, yeah, you're like that, but that's because of this. I don't need you to agree that I'm a complete ball bag and the lowest of the low and scum of the earth. But you can, because I just said it. So we are losing touch on how to speak with one another. This is a very strange setup. It's got the same hot water as I have at my home. That's the same hot water, but this is a nice deep sink. I would like to use this, utilise this sink. Any plumbers about? Joycer, are you still here? So the police might come and arrest me for being crazy. Good morning, 100 people. Let's see. I don't know how to speak to people or be nice to people anymore. Finally, he actually said something true and accountable. My son and daughter were abducted by my ex-partner, who was funded by a charity called Women's Aid, funded by the Scottish Government. Accept accountability for being a paedophile network. Accept accountability for being a paedophile protector. So let's just pin the paedophile protector. Pin message. We'll try to keep a more positive, spiritual, soulful way of dealing with things today. I don't know why, but it's because Scotland is beautiful. Scotland is beautiful. You want there's the blue and yellow. Blue and yellow, blue and yellow. Would you go on a date with him? I take it you're not speaking to me. There's not many people that want to come on a date with me, especially I won't be paying, you know. A few rules for us to set. It is beautiful in Scotland. You can have a look at beautiful Scotland. There. I will not tolerate lies and deception from any person in my life. Besides YouTube. I'd go on a date with you, bro. Thanks very much. I would take you on a date. I wouldn't get any alcohol. So many, the people just, there's everyone just driving past and having a look because I am lost in the head. Back to beautiful Scotland. Being lied to doesn't work for me. My swords are drawn in fierce love and protection for my inner child. Can we still try and protect our inner child? Because I'm telling you every day that we're funding the abuse of children. So if we would fund the downfall and abuse of our children, what makes anyone think that we are protecting truly our inner child? This is him. Let's deep dive on this guy and where he was in the 70s. Where I was in the 70s. We say goodbye to our kitchen sink and marble top table and a lovely fish tank or aquarium. If anyone would like a fish tank or aquarium, I can send it to you free of charge. Well, postage must be paid. Feel free to do a deep dive on me. It sounds a bit adult if you want to do a deep dive on me. And it possibly would be very much adult comment. In the slums, this is called the this is the bottom scheme in Barhead. You're cool, bro. Thank you very much. I don't get many, if any, compliments, but people still say hello to me. And today, maybe it's the personality today because it's more positive. I'm feeling more positive. I know I'm going to get to see my son and daughter. And I know you're going to get to see your son and daughter. I know that there's been a couple of mothers and fathers, nice people here today that's came along, and they might have come in along to take the mick because a gentleman got in contact and said, listen, I've joined in a few times just to take the mick, but I'm paraphrasing a bit here, but I feel for you and we should have services that help you. That kind of thing. But firstly, the services are funded by paedophiles, and we operate in a paedophile network in a country that backs up paedophilia and funds the downfall of family through charity like Women's Aid. That's what the Scottish government do. Now we have to deal with that as mothers and fathers. And people are going to come on here and they're going to badmouth fathers. People are going to come on YouTube and straight away take the mick. Now if you're taking the mick out of a mother or a father who are having their children abducted, alienated and abused by a funded government. I used to buy football tops that said Scotland. Never in my life again would I buy anything so stupid. Scotland funds the abuse of children, and men come on here and take the mick out of mothers and fathers and children being abused. Men come on here and take the mick out of mothers, fathers and children being abused. The first thing they think about doing as men is take the mick. Men don't do that. Men don't operate like that. So for you men, fathers out there, that still have the little boy mentality where they're going to take the mick, you're a... If anyone wants a CD, or if this is your CD, please let me know and I'll post it to you. FOC, because it's now and then. The last thing we want to be doing is vandalising or breaking anyone's goods. Now, something else that happens on here quite a lot is I feel like justifying myself to predators, parasites, paedophile protectors and child abusers. Now, we should not do that. I did write a whole list, but I'm not going to read them to you. If you want to send an email to me, I'll send them to you. I'll also send you details on how to get the 102 minerals that your body requires from 3 very basic ingredients, which would be burdock root, bladder wrack and sea moss. Get those things into your life. I can no longer afford those things. If you can't afford them like me, just have a raw egg or slightly poached egg. I know today that men and women, mothers and fathers, that did have some point of negativity when they woke up this morning, I know they might be feeling a bit better now. I know they may not kill themselves today, so we have another brother and mother staying with us right now because of this little message today. This is the same guy that goes to a woman and kids and screams at them, ranting like a effing madman. What does that even mean? This is the same man that goes to up to a woman and kids. That's not true. That's a downright lie, and that's pretty much how you're living your life right now. That's why you have to get drunk or take drugs at the weekend. The weekend. Because that's what you're given, the weekend. The weekend of the deal. I have shouted at men and women. As a child, I've shouted at children. I don't shout at children, I don't hurt children, I don't raise my voice at children. Children can be spoken to in ways where you get respect by not shouting at them. Adults are way past that point now. Most adults are way gone. They're like a grown child, the adults. They accept no responsibility or accountability, and then they write using those words, responsibility and accountability. And as a man and father, I come on letting you know that I want that accountability, responsibility. I'm actually willing to tell you every nasty, wee, bad thing that I've ever done without hiding anything, without hiding any detail of it. Because I'll never be what the Polish predators said. What the prosecutor Catherine in Gorzów Wielkopolski, what she said, the lies that she used to throw me in a dungeon as a terrorist. And if any man or woman has been thrown in a prison cell or a dungeon and called a terrorist, you'll know that you do not have any human rights. They're all taken away. And this was a prosecutor Catherine. She's a friend of the family of the woman that called me a rapist. I get it. The woman that lied about being assaulted, about being raped, about all of this stuff, she's got lots of little sinister feminists protecting her. And she's got lots of little sinister, good morning, she's got lots of little sinister feminists protecting her because Women's Aid is a funded charity. There isn't Man's Aid, there's no Father's funded charity, but they only fund not women, but beastly child abusing feminists. And every woman knows that. Every woman knows that you do that. There's a few people that get in contact as well, and they try and let me know that they do support, but their feelings are hurt. My feelings get hurt too, but you're going to have to put up with that. It's only when they overstep the line and come and attack you at your home. There's a wee green faceless thing that really wants to get in part of the rant. I never knew any of that, mate. I watched you the other day and people were crossing the road to avoid you. Yep. So you can understand why the vast majority on here, they are predators. I mean, they are paedophiles. Most people on here, and if you're a mother or father who is a loving and caring person, man or woman, the person's never respected anywhere, and it doesn't have to be. But the mother, father and child, the family unit must be protected. And all we do is fund the downfall of that. That's all we do. The reason why we have men and women coming on here is because they're funded and they're paid to belittle real mothers, real fathers. These people are the ones that shout, scream and beat up children. I've never lifted my hand or hurt any child. I've never shouted at children in my life. No, I don't do that. Never done it. Never. Does my ex do that? Yeah, I've seen her lift her hand, hit, shout, all kinds of profane language. And I've seen lots of you do that too. But it's having the vast majority of people coming on, and they try not to stick to the safety of children, the funding for family, the rights of mothers and fathers. So it's not just on here, you get lots of angry wee men that talk to themselves all over the place as well. And what you'll notice is people aren't actually going out their way to avoid me when they walk past. They smile and they say hello. Some people actually reach out and they peep their horn. They press the horn in their car and say, "How you doing, Joe? Thanks very much, Joe." Why would they say thanks very much? Because we've had great times together. The people I grew up with, we had great memories together. The guy I'm talking about, Kenny, if it wasn't for him and his brother, I probably wouldn't have went to half the places I went to. Not because I couldn't get there, because his brother, Alan, would give me clothes to wear. That's it. Stick a like and subscribe if you borrow your friend's clothes. If you borrow your friend's brother's clothes. And believe me, Alan took a good few 1950s vintage clothes from me because I used to love my vintage stuff. I still do like vintage stuff. But that again is sticking everything into, I love to feel and look great and be venerated by the people. I don't need to be venerated by people. I'm being venerated by people, I'm being slagged off by people, but it's mainly slagged off by people. But I love you. I don't know the man, but he's out of his rocker with the live stream. His age, his cage. The purpose for the live stream, you can go back to the beginning and watch it. This is Unified Pain, Parental Alienation International Network. My son and daughter were abducted and abused by the woman that I loved. Now, she was offered a story by a funded charity called Women's Aid, Edinburgh Women's Aid, a women's funded charity. But they only fund and protect women that abuse and break up family. So Edinburgh Women's Aid offered my ex-partner the story to call me a rapist and a woman beater. And lots of people like to write those things in the comment. I'm not a rapist or a woman beater. And I know rapists and woman beaters on here would giggle at that. They would laugh at that type of thing because they're sick in the head and they're sick-minded people. You are screaming in a Lido car park. No, I'm not screaming, but I'm in a Lido car park. If you could hear me screaming if you wanted to, but we'd need to be at a football game or something. Last time you said, "Sure you aren't. I can't understand you." It's because I'm Scottish. Sorry. The subtitles do work. You can do a second running, and the subtitles will work on this. I don't believe you are, mate. Women are evil. I don't believe you are, mate. Women are evil. Audrey wasn't evil. You know, a girl I was seeing. And because she was so beautiful and kind to me, I was an absolute knob. I was a knob to her. I was a horrible man to her. I was a horrible partner to her. I was a horrible person to her. Not all the time. As soon as I got the chance to be with my children, I just walked. I've done hundreds of terrible things in my day. It doesn't mean I wanted to do them. And I know some people are on here and they don't want to be saying half the things they're saying. Are you homeless? You seem schizophrenic. I'm not schizophrenic, but he is. This guy here. Fools. I'm schizophrenic and so am I. Like, there's lots of comedians on here. And I'll stand by you. Even though your jokes are terrible. You're not funny. But I'll stand by you. I've got mates that have been funny their whole... Squeak. Squeak was funny. Squeak could make anyone laugh at any point. That's why I hung about with him. Plus he liked me and we always stayed with each other and we went on holiday with one another and our families loved one another. And we've both been through difficulties with our children and lost our fathers. I love him and I love you too. I might look schizophrenic, I might look like a madman, I might look like a weirdo screaming in a Lidl car park. I come out and I address child abuse funded by the Scottish Government. Funding feminist charities like Women's Aid. That's it. The Women's Aid charity was funded by the Scottish Government and they abused my children, son and daughter. They were abducted from Scotland. Now, I tell you this because I don't want you to have your children abused, abducted, belittled and taken to another country. Because you might have to face this. It feels like your children are dead or you've died. It's definitely a grieving process. There's nothing good about this. There's nothing good about standing outside the Salvation Army or Baines or the Lidl car park getting called names by very smart comedians. But most of the smart comedians in this town, I grew up with them. Most of the hard men in this town, I grew up with them. We need to stick by our fathers, mothers, children and family. I'm not a great example at any of that, but I'm certainly not a terrible example of a man, a father. I try and pull out the worst things I've done in my time, and the last really terrible thing I've done was the way I spoke to my parents, the way I speak to my mother, the way I speak about my brothers. That's the worst things I've done recently, but you never hear that coming from any other side. And that's something that we've forgot to do. Genuinely apologise, genuinely be kind, genuinely show love and decency. I don't want any father to take his life today or tomorrow or any other day. I don't want any mother to think she's useless or helpless or not wanted. I don't mind if everyone in here comes on and starts making... False allegations don't mean anything, but name calling, just the hate in general. Love me, Joe. Alright, and I love you. Endemic trauma is factual. Endemic trauma is factual. He's a very smart man. If you can say something very smart in 3 words, you need to be very smart. Is there a video on your channel breaking down your life story in a digestible way? I've caught a lot in your live, but new viewers have no comment. Context for why you're upset. I mean, I've repeated it thousands of times. There isn't anything that you'll watch and not get the message. Scotland as a country is a paedophile network. We fund feminist child abusing organisations like Women's Aid. Women's Aid is the funded charity that funded the abduction and lies abuse and story that I was a rapist and had my ex-partner abduct my children to Poland. Now they're in Poland. If you're an English-speaking father, they will come down on you. And I've had everyone come after me in Poland. You think you're tough here? Go to Poland and try and live on your own and have the police, the prosecutors, the Stasi coming after you. They're brutal, man. They're brutal, they're abusive, they don't care about children, they don't care about any decency, they don't care about rights. And that's most of the people that are speaking to me on here. But my friends will never ever, I mean, they'll stick their hand up, they'll peep their horns. I don't know why they do that. I don't know why my friends from the past keep me in their heart, but they do. And that's why I speak about Squeak, Kenny, Brezzy today. I speak about these people each day. Because these are now men and fathers like myself that get to see their children. And maybe if they made a mistake with a woman, and that woman that they were with, she could go to a feminist funded charity in Scotland and become fanaticised enough to abuse and abduct children. You don't need my life story to understand that your country shouldn't fund child abuse. You don't need to know my life story to understand Women's Aid, a funded charity, shouldn't be given false allegations of rape or abuse or assault. No funded charity should give false allegations. If a funded charity gives false allegations, then they have to take accountability and responsibility for the child abuse. Because we understand and we know that Women's Aid funds child abuse. We know that they wrote a story to say that an innocent man was a rapist and woman beater. We know these. These are facts, court documented. In the Appellate High Court. But we continue to fund the destruction of the family, and we continue to fund a fanatical woman. Because we don't fund good mothers. And that's why I come on here. There are good mothers and good fathers out there. You may not think I'm one. I might not even be one. I've not had any opportunity to be a father. When I'm with anyone's children, it is time to play. We need to protect our inner child. We need to protect our children. We need to protect our own inner child. Keep judging away. Keep thinking yourself to be a great man and good man and venerable man and everything else. I love all your comments. I love all those likes and people subscribing. I'm sorry I don't really care much about it. You shouldn't really care much about that stuff too. You don't get anything for people liking and subscribing. Well, you do. You get money for it. I don't. I won't. And I never will take it. Because I talk about Scotland being a paedophile network. That doesn't get funded. That doesn't get monetised. I talk about funded women's charity being funded to abduct and abuse children. That doesn't get monetised. That doesn't get monetised. So you don't need to know my life story if you know Scotland is a paedophile network. Scotland, the SNP, the Labour Party, all awash with paedophiles. Just one big paedophile child abusing gang. That's what the Scottish Government is. Women's Aid, a funded charity. They're funded to abuse children and break family. We do not fund anything decent for children, for fathers, for mothers. People snigger at child abuse. Mothers, women snigger at child abuse. That is where we've come to. That's the position we're at now. Men want to take the mick out of father or mother that's had their children abducted, abused, alienated and assaulted. That's the first thing some men do. And they'll reach out and they'll tell you. And it shows how brain dead we've become as a society. Step by step we can come back from this. This morning I am approaching 4 minutes of planking time. I'm increasing about 10 seconds, 5 to 10 seconds each day extra on this plank. When I get to about 3 minutes 40, my body's shaking and violently sweating. Good morning. So many happy, smiley people that do want to speak about the protection of children, the rights of family. Stop fanaticising women. Have a wonderful day. Whatever day it is, you have a wonderful one. I had lots of points and things written down, but Scotland's a paedophile network. This paedophile network called Scotland funds fanatical charities to abuse children. And if you're a man or father and your missus goes to Women's Aid, she might come home one day, call you a rapist and abduct your children to a foreign country. Then you'll reach out to Unified Pain, then you'll reach out. I love you. Matthew, Ava, Daddy has to get through this sometimes. I'm not talking about the cold fingers or anything. I'm talking about the childlike abuse that he faces from parasites protecting paedophiles. But that's okay, they suffer. Stop living for your body, stop living for the flesh, and start thinking about the spirit and soul that you have. That's eternal. I love you. I'm going to go and get some sardines again. 45 pence. Sardines. Good morning, sir. Love you, bye bye.